So kind of the course that I'm developing is a course. Oh,
Sorry, you're recording, yeah?
yep. Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Sorry about
Good
that.
catch, though, just in case. So the course that I'm developing is a course for fashion designers, but it is a sort of digitally computer-based course. The way that designers tend to draw the clothing that they're going to make these days is all done digitally so that a factory can see like a very clear technical version of what needs to be created. So the course would be just teaching students how to draw what's called technical flats, which are just two-dimensional drawings developed on Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to, just for this lesson, do how to draw a t-shirt, just for somebody that has never used it before. Would be in the beginning of the course, one of the first things that you do, because t-shirts are obviously very simple. Everybody knows what it looks like, and it doesn't take a lot of design to it. So I'll just kind of jump right in. If you have any questions, let me know.
Okay.
So you have a set of tools on your left in Adobe Illustrator. The first main tool that you use is the pen tool. So I'm going to open that one. And then to draw vectors, all you do is click and drag. So you click to one point and then the other to create a straight line. And you would click and drag to create a curved line. It does kind of take a little bit of getting a hang of, but so to draw a t-shirt, what we do is we draw half and then you reflect it. This is a much easier way of doing it because when you're trying to draw by hand, you're trying to make each side completely identical, which is where a lot of people get stuck in fashion drawing. So that's one of the great sort of parts of the program. So I'm just going to click and drag to create the outline of the t-shirt. We always draw the outlines first and then all of the seam lines afterward go in at a smaller pace so that you can see what parts are the outside and what parts are actually needing to be sewn together. A t-shirt is only really 3 pieces. It's front and back and a sleeve, and then you reflect it for the other sleeves. So it's pretty simple to draw, and the outline is really only 5 or 6 lines. So that kind of creates the outline, just drawing using the vector system. And then we'll go in and there's different windows in Adobe Illustrator. One of the windows is called the stroke window. It's one of the first ones that you learn in the course. So I'm just going to open that and draw in some of the seam lines on top of the outline. And I just reduce the stroke so that they're a little bit smaller. Oh, that's bigger. And then you can see the variation of what is the outline of the drawing and what is the actual pieces that are being sewn together. This is really good for a factory because when you're drawing by hand, it's kind of difficult to get the different weights of the pencil and so on. And then we also do dashed lines to show seams. So if there's what's called top stitching, anything that you have that finishes like the hem or a sleeve of a t-shirt is usually, you can see the stitching. So all we do is select a dashed line for that in the stroke profile. And you can kind of see it starting together, come together. Draw another one down here. And these kinds of drawings can get really complex, obviously, but to show just kind of the most simple thing that you can sew together in the first part of the class is what's ideal for most people. So I just thought that's what I would do. So that gives us one half. Yeah, pretty simple. I'm just going to select all of it, copy. I'm just doing it on my keyboard, Command C, Command V. I'm going to reflect it by double clicking the reflect tool on the left. Hit OK. And there we go. It's a little bit construed, but sometimes when you reflect them, it's easy to just make some slight adjustments, maybe make the waist a little bigger or whatever. But that gives you kind of an idea. We also tend to do sort of variation lines so that you can see that it's not just a two-dimensional object. I usually add a line for a women's t-shirt just under the bust, just to kind of show how the fabric would flow. And I reduce the opacity on that using the transparent.
Once you reflect it, if you make a change on one side, the change automatically appears on the other side?
It does not. The way that you kind of want to, as a rule for yourself, is when you're drawing something really complex, you want to draw all of it first. It should really always be your last step, is reflecting something. Otherwise, it is pretty easy because all you do is if you add something, you just copy and drag it over as like at the same time. But yeah, that is something that a lot of people run into, is that they reflect it too early because they're excited to see what it's going to look like, and then they're like drawing everything twice, which is exactly what you don't need to be doing, because it makes it so much simpler to just reflect it right at the end. But that's kind of like the basic idea and the basics of the program. That was all I really wanted to demonstrate today. That it gets very complex, where you can sort of, the reason that you draw the outline first is so that you can fill it with color, you can fill them with patterns. But the main thing that a factory wants to see when you're developing clothing is, where are they stitching the lines, what pieces are going together, what's the sort of overall silhouette going to look like when it's finished. And it's every single fashion company does it this way now. It's no longer
Okay.
hand. Yeah, I was kind of.
Wow. So sorry. So this is, you said it's Adobe Illustrator?
Yeah, it's the same program as Photoshop, but it's just one of
Yeah.
the like sister programs. It is a drawing program often used by graphic designers, fashion designers. You could do like all kinds of different things where it looks like any sort of digitally rendered logo or image that you've seen has probably been created in Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
And fashion designers have kind of adopted a method of using it to draw clothing in a similar way. But yeah.
And so you could, so from Adobe Illustrator, you could send, like, would they need measurements? How does that work for, as far as, sizing and stuff? How do they know what size to do if you were going to send that to a factory?
That's a great question. Yeah. So a lot of times you'll create a tech package in Excel, which consists of this image, as well as the back of the t-shirt version of this image. And then sometimes people will create a page in the tech pack, which is called a callouts page. What that does is you take this drawing and then you basically draw arrows to each piece, and you'll put important things that they might need to know. A lot of times it's not precise measurements, because that'll accompany with the pattern, which is the paper that they lay down on the fabric to cut out to get the shape for every different size. But sometimes you might want to tell them things like the stitching on the sleeve should be 3/8 of an inch above, because the consistency really matters when you're buying something and you're making it a small, medium, and large. And if the stitching's 1 inch on one and 1/4 of an inch on the other, people do notice it. So that's kind of what the whole idea of the tech package is that it forces the factories to work with a certain level of consistency and to make it identical to the sample that you make.
Yeah, it's the specifications in a way.
Yeah.
Like it's, the detail.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very cool. I had watched you in the shared area. You had shared a video of it. Was it the same program that you were using? You were doing and I'm probably not using the terminology right here, but like a plaid, and you were changing the color from the plaid. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like exactly that. I'm glad you watched that. It's basically what you would do after. So you then, I think I did it on a pair of pants or something, but I drew the pants the same way. And then that would be like maybe class number 2 in a course. After you learn how to draw it, you learn how to fill the flats in, and the idea is that you can make it look identical on the computer to what it looks like in real life. So with that, you're taking
So that plaid you had created, or was that an existing? Are you able to take, let's say you have a pattern, you see a material somewhere, can you take that material, say from a picture, and move it in onto the pants, and it'll kind of make it look like it fits on the pants?
Yeah, exactly. You can do either. So some companies get to develop their own plaids if you're like a big company like Burberry or something. But most companies just pick from a set of whatever they have at the fabric store or whatever's available to them. And that is something that's like very important, is that you want it to look identical to what it looks like in real life. So you're going to create a digital version of the photo of the plaid, which was kind of what I did in the other lesson.
It appeared to me as well, and it was last week that I watched it, so maybe I'm remembering it wrong, but it appeared to me, even like the plaid, when you looked at the pants, it looked like the plaid had been applied exactly with the angles of the pants as well. Like it didn't look like it was just sort of like cartooned in, flat 2D on a 3D mannequin type of thing.
Yeah, and that's what's very important, and is something. That kind of takes a little bit of trial and error to get it to that point, but you do want it to look not as realistic as possible, but as much of like, a digital version of something as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wow, that's very cool.
Well, thank you for your questions. That's helpful too. It's kind of fun to answer. I haven't taught this course yet. This is kind of just something that I'm planning to do.
Okay.
I'm not currently teaching at a university, so it's exciting to get to show people.
Yeah. So are you hoping to do this independently or through a college or something like that? Or
Through a college, yeah.
oh, I
I mean,
see.
even VCC actually has a fashion design program.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's quite a
cool,
few
cool.
in Vancouver.
Very neat.
Oh, thank you. If I stop this screen, hopefully, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm kind of disappointed I don't get to see your presentations, but hopefully, if you let me know when you guys are planning to present them to each other, if my surgery and so on is depending on where I am in the recovery at that point, I could potentially still be there to
Yeah.
view. But I'm glad that I got to do mine while it was still um, comfortable for
Yeah.
me.
So you'll be out for 2 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, but this was the last
Cool.
thing I needed to do for the course, so it's a really nice peace of mind to have it done, um, and then I can kind of just, you know, sign up for the next one once I'm recovered.
Yeah. What other projects did you do? Like so for 3 and 4? Oh, I saw the one. So that was for 3 or 4 that